Hey brothers and sisters, welcome back to Bearing Christ Fruits. Today, I'm going to be telling you all about how I bought a house on faith. On this channel, I am going to be doing some like home DIYs and home decor things. And so I wanted just to give you the background of how I bought my house and my testimony before I even start doing those things. And I also just want to encourage you, if you're someone who is thinking about buying a house or has considered it, but you just have the fear of different things are making you feel like you can't do it. I just wanted to encourage you, because for me, I did not think it was possible. I questioned the fact that I did not have such a high credit score. I thought I was going to have like a really insane interest rate, but I actually got a really good interest rate, lower than 4%. I thought I didn't have enough money in the bank. I felt like it was such a permanent decision because I didn't know like what I was about to do with my life and where I was going to be. And to this day, y'all, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this house. I don't know how long I'm going to be in this city. If God tells me to move, I'm going to move. And so, but I also just decided, like, if I end up moving or whatever, I can either keep this house and use it as an investment property, which is something I like really want to get into anyways, or I can sell it. Like, y'all, you can sell your house. You can do it. So I just hope that you can just also apply this to other areas of your life, because if God tells you to do something, he will see you through it. He will see you through to the end. And he will be with you until it happens, regardless of how long that it takes. So again, I just want to just encourage you, if there's anything that makes you feel like you cannot buy a house. Sometimes people think, oh, I have to be married and have like this family and all this stuff, and it doesn't make sense for me to buy it because I'm single or whatever. Like, I know like some people feel like, well, what if something happens to the house, or whatever, it's not an apartment, how is it going to get fixed? The same way you get your car fixed, if something happens to your car, you're gonna find somebody to come fix it. Like, there's so many things out here. Like, you will find someone, like, there's Thumbtack. You can literally find someone to fix just about anything that you need, or do anything you need done in your house. So no more excuses. And again, if this is not saying like every single person should just go ahead and buy it or whatever, which I kind of do believe that, because I just feel like we're throwing our money away in rent, and I was sort of just like ignorant to that fact, and I just kept making up excuses. But anyways, this is not what this is about. It's just to encourage people that feel like they're hesitant for any reason. But this intro is already getting really long, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'll start from the beginning. And if I keep looking down, I have some notes because I don't want to keep talking in circles and going off on a tangent. So I'm going to use my points that I have. So let's go ahead. So I'll start from the beginning, as I said. So this is back in 2019. I was looking at apartments and looking for a 1-bedroom apartment. But the area that I live in, apartments are kind of expensive, especially if you want to live in something decent. And well, I do want to live in something that is decent. And so I ended up finding an apartment that was maybe like 25 minutes or so from where I worked, which is also about 20 minutes or 25 minutes or so from where I was currently living. And I found this apartment, and it was like really, really nice. Like, I loved it, and especially for the price. It was like, this is amazing. But of course it was cheaper because it was further out. And I was like looking for apartments, and I like figured, I was like, this is the one. I'm going to move into this apartment. And prior to me even doing that, when I was looking at apartments, I was talking to my older cousin, and he kept telling me to just buy a house or, a condo or whatever. And I was totally against it, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like I was like, I eventually am going to grad school. I don't know if I want to stay in this area. It just, to me, this doesn't make sense. Why would I buy a house? Yeah, no, not happening. And so anyway, so I decided to go with that apartment instead of trying to buy a house. So I moved into this apartment, and maybe about a month or so later, mold started to grow on my things. Like really. But due to legal reasons, I really can't speak on it. But yeah, that's what happened. So, I want to say this was like prior to the mold growing on my things. I did not have the highest credit score. And I remember one day, because I had been looking at like houses and stuff online, just because I just do that for fun. Like I love like looking at houses, and even now, like I still just do that. It's just fun to me. And, you know, so I was like looking at houses and stuff online, and, you know, seeing like how much things cost and everything. Because what my cousin said was kind of in the back of my head. So I'm just thinking, you know, in the future, maybe in a year or so, I'll figure out what I'm doing, have enough money saved, and, you know, buy a house. And so, randomly one day I saw something pop up on my Credit Karma, appear on my Credit Karma, and it was a derogatory mark on my credit score that had been removed. And because it was removed, my credit score increased like 50 points. And I remember, and I talked to my cousin about it, and he was like, well, I think you should just go ahead and call them and pay it. He was like, it was probably sold to like another company or something that bought the debt, and it's going to get back on your credit. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just removed. And then like a little bit later, he was right. It did get back on my credit. But a part of me was still like, oh, my credit score can actually be a decent credit score. I mean, obviously, but yeah. And so anyway, so after the motor stuff starts growing, I'm like looking at different apartments in the area. And again, for me to like, if I wanted something like nice, it was going to be over $1,000, which I'm not saying that is necessarily expensive, but I had made up in my mind a long time ago that if I'm going to spend that much money, it's going to be in a mortgage, not in rent. I'm not knocking anyone that does it, but that was just something that I had decided. And so, again, I'm like looking at other apartments, and they're either well over $1,000 for a 1-bedroom. And then the other ones that I saw that were like cheaper, it was like, yeah, no. And so I didn't have peace about any apartment that I looked at. So, my friend Janae, shout out to Janae. She owns a house, and she was pretty much telling me the same thing that my cousin was saying. And I was like, really not wanting to hear it. She was like, I think you should why don't you just buy a house, you know? And I was like, giving the same excuses that I was giving to my cousin. And then, finally, I was just like, okay, you know what? Let's just try this out. Like, you know, and Janae, God bless her, actually allowed me to stay with her instead of me just rushing into another lease, because again, I just didn't feel right about any of the apartments and things that I was looking at. And so I, you know, was with Janae, and kind of just starting to go through the process. I ended up meeting with a real estate agent, and he is a member at my church. And so I met with him, and he just kind of like went through the process with me and told me what would be required, amount of money, and roughly the amount of money and all that stuff. And which was also very helpful, because I'm not saying all, but I know a lot of like real estate agents don't really care to meet with you unless like you are ready to go and like you've already like been pre-approved, you know, and stuff like that. So it was definitely very nice of him to do that. And so he went through the process with me, and I'm like, okay, this is all right. This kind of seems like it's possible, you know? And, I was like, okay, all right, God, I guess this is what you want. But then I was still just like, well, how am I going to do this? Because again, I don't have the highest credit score, and I don't have that much money saved either. So how? So, but God was still just like, yep, you're going to buy a house. So I'm just like, okay. So we start, the process. And then I went to the credit union through my job, and the amount that they approved me for was a joke. And I could have used that, but it was like, I probably would be afraid coming home at night. So I was like, yeah, I can't do nothing with this, whatever. So then my real estate agent gave me the information to a mortgage company that I ended up going with. And when I reached out to them, they approved me for way more. And something else that was like really crazy was like they approved me. And again, I really didn't have that much money in the bank. And most mortgage companies, again, are not approving you or doing anything until they see that you have this money saved, so that when it's time to go to closing, that you actually have this. And so again, I didn't have that much saved. And so I was still just like, y'all approve me with that much, this little bit in the bank, but okay. And I was still like, all right, God, okay. And so I think also a part of me was like, well, I did tell them, I said, I'm not paying rent right now because I'm staying with someone, but I don't even know if that had anything to do with it, but they had approved me. And so and I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all and transparent. I want to say my credit score was about a 640 or less. I say that because on Credit Karma, I had told you I paid that thing off, and my credit score was like, it was above a 700 on Credit Karma. When they ran my credit, it was not what it was on Credit Karma. Okay? It was a catfish. I was like, are you sure? And they were like, yeah. It's low. But anyway, and the reason I think it was lower than either a 640 or a 650, but I'm pretty sure it was a 640. And the reason I'm saying that number is because she had asked me if I wanted to go with like this first time home buyers program where they would like pretty much cover the like down payment or something. It wouldn't be that much money I would have to pay out of pocket. But the reason, and I remember her saying my credit score had to be either, it was a 640 that it had to be. So it was probably less than a 640. And I remember her saying like, you're like a couple points away or whatever. So we would have to wait to, move forward with the process if you decide to go with that program. But I was also, there's all these like stipulations and things that come with it. Like if you move within 10 years and stuff like that. And again, I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. But so I was like, I just don't want to go with that. I'll just come somehow get the money. I don't know how, because it wasn't there. I don't know how I'm gonna get all the money, but okay. And mind you, so like with me putting the percentage down that was required, it was almost like $7,000. That's just for the down payment, not everything else that you have to bring to closing. So I was like, okay, I don't know how we're gonna do this, God, but okay, cool. And so ended up just going forward with the process, and I had started to save money because, like I said, I was staying with my friend. So what I did was, because I had opened the account through the credit union through my job, every time I got paid, I would take money from my like main account, and every time I got paid, I would just go put it in this savings account that I had opened, because you got to know yourself. Okay? I know yourself. And to me, having a savings account right there with my checking just doesn't really work for me. Like, it's a joke to me. And I will very easily move a little bit of money over. So, like I said, you got to know yourself. So I would take the money and go put it in this account. So I would do that every time I got paid, and I was able to save money. And so I eventually find a house. And the way that I found the house is my real estate agent sent me this house because I had decided I want a townhome. I was like, I don't want to deal with a yard. I don't want to deal with, anything. It's just me, I just want a townhome. And my real estate agent sent me this single family home, and I was like, he said I wanted a townhome. But I decided to just go ahead and look at it. And when I get there to the house, this house, when I pull up, I park in the driveway and I'm waiting, and if you know me, you know I'm never on time. I am working on it, getting better, doing better, but I'm usually running late. And I pull up and I'm sitting in the driveway, and prior to this, for like weeks, maybe even like a couple months, I have been seeing the numbers 825, and my birthday is August the 25th. So just to be clear, I'm not one of those people that's like into, oh, well, these numbers mean this and like, you know, all of that. But I do know that God speaks to you in different ways. So I kept seeing this number, and I was telling like my friends and my sister, like, this number keeps appearing. I'm like catching the time in the morning, at night, I'm seeing it just like everywhere. And maybe it's a coincidence, but I was like, what is it? Is it like lottery numbers? Like, what is this, you know? So I get to the house and I park, and again, the reason I'm like sitting here looking is because I happen to be on time today, and so I'm waiting on my real estate agent, and I look up, and I'm not gonna tell you what the exact numbers are, but the numbers equal to 825. Not like forced it was just like, because I wasn't looking for 825. Again, anytime that I saw it, wasn't like I was like looking for it. It was just like there, and I was like, okay, God, is this why you were showing me these numbers? Like, you know, but still just not exactly sure. So finally, my real estate agent gets here, and I look at the house, and I was like, I actually really like this. But in my mind, it was like, there's a whole yard back there. Like, I don't want to have to deal with trying to get the grass cut, just like all these different things, excuses. And so I found out that someone else had already put an offer on the house, and so I like had to move like quickly. But I was just like, this is scary to me. Like, this is my first time trying to buy a house. So I was like, I'm not moving that fast. I'm not making a decision right now. If it's meant to be, it will be. So the next day I'm at work, and I have like this sort of like devotional calendar, and it has the different, it's like Greek words on it, and then like a scripture and devotional for the day. And I won this thing at like doing something at church, and I had it at my friend's Janae house like for the longest. But on this particular day, I was like, oh, let me just take this and put it on my desk at work, because it's like a calendar, you know, whatever. I'll just put it on my desk. And so I am at work, and I am praying to God, like, I, you know, need to make a decision, but I need some peace about it. Like, I saw those numbers, but I don't know, God. Like, I just need you to confirm it. And I'm like praying, and I write down, Lord, I strongly believe that it is you telling me to move forward with this house. Lord, please give me peace about it, if it is truly you. I think you confirmed it with the numbers yesterday. Lord, please stay with me in this. I know that you will never leave nor forsake me, and I know that you will allow everything to fall into place. I know that you have already gone ahead of me, Lord God, so you know how this will end. It will all be for your glory. There's a little bit more that I said, and I looked down again at this calendar. Or devotional I said that I brought to work this day. And I looked down, and it says, the devotional for the day: God wants you to be located at the address of faith, for this is the location he dreams valuable and profitable for your life. I was like, okay, like that was a real quick answer, but I needed a quick answer in that moment, because I needed to know before I call and say, I'm gonna put an offer on this house. So I took that, like, I was like, all right, God. And so I told my real estate agent, okay, like, I'm gonna put in this offer, you know, whatever. So we went ahead and like moved forward with it, and they hadn't accepted the offer yet. And I want to say it might have been that same day, or maybe the next day. I was waiting on like the offer, waiting for them to tell me whether they accepted the offer or not. And so I am still just like on like Zillow or whatever it was I was looking at, still looking at houses, you know, and I see this townhouse appear that it was a townhouse that I saw a while ago, and it was before I was even approved to start looking at houses. And I saw this house, and I was like, it was in my friend Janae's neighborhood, and I was like, I love this house. And I hadn't looked at it in the inside yet, but just like online, and I saw it, on the outside. And so I was like, why would this appear now? Like, I was like, God, now I'm confused. Like, was that you telling me to go ahead and buy this house and move forward with it? Like, was it you? And so at this point, I'm like acting like Gideon, and I was like, just confirm it, just one last time for me, God, just confirm it, please do something, just confirm that this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I ended up calling my real estate agent and said, can I just go look at this house? Like, what's going to happen if, because they hadn't accepted the offer yet, so what's going to happen if they do? And he was like, you could still sort of like retract the offer. It's just more so like it will sort of make him look bad. So I didn't want that. So I did take that into consideration, but still I went to go look at the house. So I leave work and I go meet my real estate agent to look at the house, and I like love this townhouse too. And I was like, oh, I already like put an offer, but I didn't give them my due diligence or earnest money yet either. So, so again, so I get back in the car to head back to work because I had left work to go look at it. And I was praying again, like, God, please just confirm me. I need you to just confirm it. Like, let me know what I'm supposed to do. And so my real estate agent calls me, and he was like, you're not going to believe this. This is kind of weird, and this has never happened to me before. But I just got a call back, and the person that called me, I thought it was a listing agent, and they actually told me this house isn't for sale, it's for rent. And I guess they were like the property manager or something like that. So, but they're not sure like why it's showing up as being for sale or whatever. So I was just like, okay, well, I can't even buy the house because it's not for sale. So that was like my third confirmation that house, the single family home that I had found, was for me. And so then it came to the point of me figuring out how I'm about to pay for it. So I was like, okay, I put in the offer and, had enough to give like my earnest money, due diligence, and obviously some other money as well, but I did not have the complete amount for closing. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I did not have it. And I was still just like, okay, God, you've confirmed this, but how are we paying for it? Still just walking by faith. Like, you told me to buy a house. At this point, the whole not paying $1,000, more than $1,000 a month, was out the window, because I was like, I'll take an apartment that I like that's over $1,000 at this point now, because so I'm just praying like, okay, and I was just chilling, y'all. Like, that's a crazy like thing. I was really just chilling. And so it came, we were really close to closing, and I realized I still didn't have the exact amount I needed for closing. And so I called my real estate agent, and I was like, Eric, like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we might have to push closing back because I ain't got all the money. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna have the money. And he said, well, why didn't you tell me something before? I'll see what I can do. So then he does his little thing or whatever, and he contacts me and says, oh, the sellers are gonna give like $3,000 more in closing. And I was like, oh, wow. But even prior to that, I remember being at church, and I have been like a frequent tither for at least the last like 2 years or so, probably longer than that, but at least the last 2 years I have been like a frequent tither, very consistent with my tithing. And everyone knows like that when they're buying a house, like every penny counts. And so I remember questioning, like, I was about to tithe, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna tithe this month because like I need this, like, but I was like, I rebuked that, and I went ahead and just tithe anyways. And it was like, after that day, that was when I found out, oh, they're gonna give you $3,000 more in closing. Isn't that crazy? but it was me just trusting God. Like, you're the one that said I'm going to buy this house, so I'm going to still continue to tithe, and somehow you're going to make it work. So then I ended up only needing about like $1,000 more. And of course I still like had some money in my savings, but I didn't want to spend every single thing and then move in and like not have like $0. So that just wouldn't be smart. So I ended up borrowing the money from my aunt and paid her back. So I'm only like $1,000 more. And then something else that helped is that my real estate agent has like this relationship built with the inspectors, and so my inspection was like $500 or so, and he allowed me to also pay him a little later as well. So it just all worked out in the end. And so I am telling you this just to encourage you. Maybe there's something that God is telling you to do, and you feel like it isn't possible. So I'm here to tell you that what seems impossible is still possible. And I am not saying this about a house like in a boastful way, because having a relationship with God is not about just prosperity and gaining things, and but again, I am just encouraging you to tell you that God blessed me with a house, and because you are also supposed to do things with your money and be able to like build wealth and stuff like that. So I'm just encouraging you, and to anyone that feels like discouraged, y'all, it is possible. There are other options out there. There are ways to do this regardless of how old that you are. I was 26 when I bought my house. Started the process when I was 25, turned 26, and I did it. And again, I did not have the best credit score. People make it sound like you have to have like an 800 credit score to do it. That is not the case. It's a lie. Just do it. And this is not to talk down on anyone that chooses to continue to rent or anything like that. To each his own. But I am just telling you like what I thought and my experience in this to encourage you, because I promise you, you're probably throwing your money away in rent, and more than likely the amount that you are paying your mortgage is actually a lot less than what you are paying for rent. It does not have to be some like $1 million home, or this is not my dream home. I love it, but it's not my dream home. And but for now it just makes more sense to me, and I'm trying just to make more like smart decisions financially. And so yeah, again, I'm just encouraging you, regardless of who you are, you can do it. And if there's any other areas in life that you're waiting on God to move, sometimes it's not as quick as it happened for me. There are other things that I am believing God for and waiting on and having faith that seems like it's taking a while. But still, if he told you to do it, and he is going to make a way, I promise you. So thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.